torture really be part of military training? For the world's most elite special forces units, the answer is yes. Their unfathomably brutal daily regimens push the human body to the absolute limit, honing skills beyond what seems humanly possible, developing uncanny accuracy, enigmatic stealth abilities, and combat readiness levels beyond comprehension. From the legendary US Navy SEALs and British Special Air Service to the feared Russian Spetsnaz Alpha Group. Join us as we show you the most elite special forces in the world. Number 15, Alpha Group. Russia's Alpha Group is one of the world's most feared counterterrorism units. Comprising the country's best-trained operators, its motto is, "Where Alpha appears, compromise stops." Alpha Group's roots trace back to the 1970s under the Soviet KGB. Lacking a specialized force to respond to the 1972 Munich Olympics hostage crisis, the KGB resolved to form an elite team of commandos trained specifically for counterterrorism. Recruitment into Alpha Group is extremely selective with high standards of physical fitness, marksmanship, and mental tenacity required. Courage under fire and loyalty to the state are emphasized strongly throughout their rigorous Spetsnaz training. Besides counterterrorism, Alpha members specialize in hostage rescue, barricade situations, VIP protection, and resolving crises on planes, trains, or ships. Training is relentless and designed to push candidates to their limits. Physical conditioning with very little sleep is a hallmark of Alpha Group preparation. Hand-to-hand combat and weapons training are also heavily emphasized. Live fire exercises, solo parachute jumps, and underwater endurance drills ensure these operators can thrive under extreme pressure. Once accepted, Alphas have access to the best weapons and technology in Russia, including specialized firearms, explosives, and surveillance equipment. This allows them to gather intel and execute precise strikes against targets while minimizing collateral damage. However, ruthless civilian casualties inflicted during past siege situations have sparked controversy. Some of Alpha Group's most high-profile missions include storming the Moscow theater during the 2002 hostage crisis and fighting rebels in Afghanistan and Chechnya. They are regarded as one of Russia's sharpest blades in crisis response, counterterrorism, and national defense. But their loyalty lies solely with their own government, not morality. This makes them fearsome yet sometimes unpredictable. Number 14, Navy SEAL Team 6. The U.S. Naval Special Warfare Development Group, otherwise known as SEAL Team 6, is regarded as America's premier special operations unit and the deadliest special force unit in the world. Their elite status comes from unparalleled training, access to advanced technologies, and a record of successful missions. SEAL Team 6 was formed in 1980 after a failed Iranian hostage rescue convinced the U.S. Navy SEALs to establish a hyper-elite counterterrorism unit. Recruitment is selective, taking proven SEALs with at least 5 years of operational experience. Assessment and selection are intense. Training takes discipline and commitment to the extreme. Physical conditioning involves running, swimming, and diving with heavy loads in freezing conditions. Trainees also undergo exhausting demolition and weapons drills. Psychological resilience is built through sleep deprivation and high-stress scenarios. The attrition rate exceeds 90%. The training produces elite SEALs at the peak of physical capability and mental toughness. Team 6 operators also have access to cutting-edge military technology and weapons for carrying out precision strikes against high-value targets. Several high-profile successes have defined SEAL Team 6. They rescued the Maersk, Alabama captain from Somali pirates in 2009 and eliminated Osama bin Laden in 2011's Operation Neptune Spear. These missions demonstrate their unparalleled capabilities in counterterrorism and hostage rescue. With the demand for their skills only growing, SEAL Team 6 remains at the forefront of U.S. military special operations. Their advanced training methods, tactical expertise, and track record cement them as one of the most elite forces worldwide. Number 13, British Special Air Service. The British Special Air Service SAS is regarded as one of the world's original and most elite special forces units, formed during World War II to conduct daring covert operations behind enemy lines. Becoming part of the SAS starts with undertaking one of the most grueling and infamous military selection phases, designed to push candidates to their mental and physical breaking points across 5 months of relentless exercises in the harsh Welsh countryside. Volunteers must complete long, forced marches, carrying heavy packs of up to 55 pounds on minimal food and sleep. The Brecon Beacons March involves trekking 40 miles over steep mountain terrain in under 20 hours, an immense feat of endurance. Candidates also undergo planning and navigational tests when exhausted to assess their operational aptitude under the harshest conditions. Attrition rates often exceed 90%. Those selected complete basic commando training and specialized qualifications tailored for SAS missions. This includes honing marksmanship skills to eliminate targets from 800+ meters with sniper rifles, learning sabotage and demolition methods to covertly disable infrastructure, mastering foreign weapons and equipment to adapt to any scenario, undergoing resistance to interrogation training in case of capture, and practicing vehicle handling for insertion-extraction from hostile territories. The broad expertise produces elite operators capable of succeeding in any environment. Weapons and gear assigned for specific missions provide maximum tactical flexibility, appropriate for the operational objectives. The MP5 submachine gun, G36C, and M16 rifles ready SAS operators for lethality in close quarters and across ranges. Communications and surveillance devices aid covert infiltrations and intelligence gathering. Their arsenal adapts to any situation. The SAS pioneered special operations during World War II, helping turn the tide against Axis forces in North Africa with daring raids on infrastructure and bases. Post-war, they combated insurgents worldwide threatening British interests. Recent deployments have targeted terrorists in diverse environments across Colombia, Afghanistan, Iraq, and beyond. The 1980 Iranian embassy siege in London remains their most famous mission. SAS teams rescued 19 hostages from terrorists in a flawless 17-minute raid, demonstrating immense precision under pressure. This operation exemplified the SAS's reputation for daring, skilled missions against threats to national security. The SAS remains Britain's premier special operations force, ready to neutralize threats to national security wherever they emerge. Number 12. Poland's Grom military unit. Grom is Poland's elite special operations unit, highly trained to conduct covert missions behind enemy lines. Its name derives from the Polish words Grupa Reagowania Operacyjno-Manewrowego, meaning Operational Maneuvering Response Group. Founded in 1990, Grom's specialized skills filled a gap in Poland's military capabilities during a time of political change. The unit is modeled on Western Special Forces units like the U.S. Delta Force. Its roles include counterterrorism, direct action, unconventional warfare, hostage rescue, and more. Earning a place in Polish Grom requires completing a grueling selection process followed by specialized training. Candidates must demonstrate exceptional physical fitness, determination, and psychological resilience just to qualify for selection. Attrition rates are high. Selected recruits undergo a 9-month operator training course covering combat diving, parachuting, demolition, survival skills, and asymmetric warfare. Marksmanship skills are honed to an incredibly high standard. This demanding course creates elite operators prepared for the most difficult missions. Grom maintains a high level of readiness at all times. Their base in Warsaw houses state-of-the-art facilities for training and equipping these operators. The unit has access to advanced technologies and weapons including specialized firearms, night vision, tactical vehicles, explosives, and more. Operators typically arm themselves with the indigenous FB barrel assault rifle and PM-84 submachine gun. Sniper elements employ the Remington M24 rifle. Unit members can also call on heavier firepower if a mission requires it. Polish Grom has undertaken secretive operations around the globe in defense of Polish interests. These include hostage rescues in Iraq and Afghanistan, vessel boardings off the Somali coast, and combat deployments alongside U.S. Special Forces. The unit is on constant standby to deploy at home or abroad at a moment's notice when the Polish government requires an elite response only Grom can provide. Number 11. Canadian JTF-two. Joint Task Force 2 is Canada's elite special operations force mandated with handling difficult counterterrorism missions at home and abroad. JTF-2 specializes in direct action, hostage rescue, counter-proliferation, and sensitive reconnaissance operations. JTF-two was formed in 1993 in response to Canada's need for a highly trained force that could undertake complex missions beyond conventional military capabilities. Recruits come from across the Canadian Armed Forces and must pass a rigorous selection process assessing their physical fitness, aptitude, and mentality. Those picked complete 6 months of intensive operator training. Soldiers master specialized skills, including close-quarters combat, advanced marksmanship, demolitions, and covert infiltration into hostile environments. The training culminates in realistic mission scenarios, requiring operators to apply their collective expertise. Weapons and equipment provide JTF-two personnel with a tactical edge during high-risk missions. Standard-issue firearms include the Colt Canada C8 carbine, MP5 submachine gun, and the P226 pistol. Snipers use Lapua Magnum and .5 BMG rifles. Various explosives and surveillance devices further augment mission capabilities. JTF-two has supported key Canadian interests and allies worldwide. They deployed against Taliban and Al-Qaeda forces in Afghanistan, served in NATO operations in the former Yugoslavia, protected heads of state at international summits, and rescued Canadians taken hostage abroad on several occasions. Perhaps JTF-two's most remarkable demonstration came in 2017 when a member established the longest confirmed sniper kill, an astounding 3,450 meters during operations against ISIS in Iraq. This incredible feat showcased JTF-two's immense skills and training. Their capabilities rival any global special forces. Number 10. SHET Matol. SHET Matol is one of Israel's most elite special forces units. Specializing in intelligence gathering, counter-terrorism, and hostage rescue, it is shrouded in secrecy. The unit was formed in 1957 to obtain strategic intelligence through covert reconnaissance. Recruits were drawn from the best of the Israeli Defense Forces IDF infantry units and pilots. As terrorism threats grew, SHET Matol later specialized in counter-terrorism and hostage rescue. Training to become a Matol commando is notoriously brutal. Selection includes exhaustive physical tests, navigational exercises, and psychological screening. Those who pass enter a year-long training program covering all aspects of special operations. Maintaining secrecy under interrogation is a major component. SHET Matol's most famous mission was the 1976 hostage rescue at Entebbe Airport in Uganda. Matol operators rescued 102 hostages from terrorists, displaying remarkable planning and precision under fire. Counterterrorism and hostage rescue skills remain Matol's forte today. Weapons and equipment are tailored to missions, but often include compact assault rifles like the M4 and TAR-21 for close-quarters work. Pistols, submachine guns, sniper rifles, and grenades complement the unit's extensive armory. Cutting-edge technologies are used for surveillance and communication. With their demanding selection, specialized skill sets, and secretive nature, SHET Matol fulfills some of the IDF's most critical operations. Neutralizing threats to national security and civilians makes Matol a valuable asset. They are regarded as among the most elite special forces in the world. Number 9. Delta Force. Delta Force is the U.S. military's secretive elite special missions unit tasked with the most complex classified operations involving national security. Their capabilities include hostage rescue, counterterrorism, direct action, and more. Delta Force's roots trace back to 1977 when terrorism was on the rise. The U.S. Army felt it needed an ultra-elite unit with specialized training for crisis response situations that conventional forces could not handle. Delta Force was activated the following year. Recruitment comes from the Army's most capable soldiers who have years of service under their belt. Selection is highly competitive and secretive. Those picked undergo specialized operator training focusing on marksmanship, explosives, intelligence gathering, close-quarters battle, and other disciplines critical to missions they may undertake. Delta Force's training methods are as unconventional as their missions. Exercises like hostage rescue and aircraft assault drills aim to mimic likely real-world scenarios. Trainees are also taught covert infiltration into foreign urban environments to prepare them for undercover missions. Training is designed to push candidates to their mental and physical limits. Once fully trained, Delta Force operators have access to the most cutting-edge weapons and technologies suited for special missions. This includes specialized firearms, night vision goggles, surveillance equipment, and more. However, details remain classified. Some of Delta Force's known operations include scouting Iraqi targets during the Gulf War, hunting Osama bin Laden in Afghanistan, and rescuing hostages from a Panamanian jail in 1989. However, their most sensitive missions will never be known to the public. Delta Force remains America's quiet professionals, known for their excellence but not seeking praise. Number 8. German GSG-9. Germany's elite counterterrorism unit GSG-9 is among the most experienced special forces in the world. Formed in 1972, the GSG-9 has honed its expertise during countless high-risk operations in Germany and worldwide. The impetus for the GSG-9's creation came after the tragic Munich Olympics terrorist attack that year. Lacking a dedicated counterterrorism team, German police were unprepared to respond effectively. The GSG-9 was activated to fill this capability gap. Rigorous selection and training filter applicants not physically and mentally able to join the GSG-9. Training lasts up to 2 years, building skills in marksmanship, crisis negotiation, breaching tactics, and more. GSG-9 members regularly attend continuation training to keep their skills razor-sharp. Weapons and equipment choices provide maximum tactical flexibility. Primary firearms include the SIG SG-550 rifles, Glock 17 pistol, and MP5 submachine gun. The GSG-9 employs the latest surveillance and communications technologies to maintain real-time situational awareness during missions. Perhaps the GSG-9's most famous mission came in 1977, when they resolved the Lufthansa Flight 181 hijacking. They stormed the aircraft at Mogadishu Airport, eliminating the terrorists and safely rescuing all 86 hostages on board with only minor injuries. Counterterrorism remains the GSG-9's forte today. Besides airline assaults, the GSG-9 has spearheaded security at high-profile events like the FIFA World Cup, conducted maritime interdictions in the Mediterranean against traffickers, and supported German diplomatic interests overseas. Their capabilities across a spectrum of special operations are unmatched. Number 7. Australian SASR. The Australian Special Air Service Regiment, SASR, is a distinguished special forces unit of the Australian Army that specializes in covert reconnaissance, direct action raids, and counter-terrorism. It is tasked with some of Australia's most sensitive military operations at home and abroad. Modeled after the British SAS, the SASR was established in 1957 to provide Australia with an elite commando capability. Rigorous selection weeds out all but the strongest candidates who demonstrate high levels of physical fitness, determination, and infantry skills during a 3-week selection course. SASR operators complete up to 18 months of intensive training after selection. Qualifications include combat diving, heavy weapons handling, demolitions, survival skills, and advanced driving, all tailored to real-world SASR mission requirements. Marksmanship is honed to an incredibly high standard. The varied expertise of SASR soldiers allows small 4-man teams to infiltrate behind enemy lines and operate covertly for extended periods, or conduct daring raids against heavily defended targets. They gather intelligence and call in precision airstrikes or orchestrate ambushes, wreaking havoc unseen. For direct action missions, SASR utilizes specialized weapons including the M4 carbine, MP5 submachine gun, combat shotguns, and the Thales F90 assault rifle optimized for Australian conditions. Sniper elements employ the SR98 rifle effective past 1,000 meters. The SASR has seen action in Borneo, Vietnam, Somalia, East Timor, Iraq, and most notably Afghanistan, where SASR hunted Taliban leaders and disrupted insurgent networks. At home, SASR responds to terrorist incidents and protects dignitaries at events like the Commonwealth Heads of Government meeting. Number 6. Marcos, the Marine Commando Force. Marcos is regarded as one of India's most elite special operations units. As the Special Forces wing of the Indian Navy, Marcos specializes in amphibious warfare and maritime counter-terrorism operations. The origins of Marcos can be traced back to the 1971 Indo-Pakistani War, when the need for a specialized Marine Commando force became apparent. After the war, the Indian Navy used U.S. Navy SEALs and British SAS as models to develop its own specialized force. Marcos was officially established in 1987 and has since grown to around 2,000 personnel. Recruitment into Marcos is extremely selective, with only the top soldiers and sailors accepted. Candidates must have a minimum of 4.5 years of military service before applying. The selection process begins with grueling physical fitness tests including timed runs, pull-ups, push-ups, and swimming tests. This initial phase eliminates about 80% of applicants. Those selected move on to a 5-week probation phase known as Hell's Week. Inspired by the U.S. Navy SEAL's infamous Hell Week, this phase pushes candidates to their mental and physical limits with little food or sleep. Marcos trainees undergo timed endurance marches, carrying heavy loads, obstacle course runs, and pool competency drills. The most infamous exercise is the death crawl, a half-mile muddy pit that has claimed several trainees' lives from drowning or exhaustion. Only the toughest complete this phase. After selection, Marcos operators undergo specialized training including combat diving, parachuting, explosives, urban warfare, Krav Maga martial arts, and counterterrorism tactics. This empowers Marcos with a diverse skill set covering all aspects of special operations. Marcos operators are also known for their stealth tactics, earning them the nickname the Bearded Army during counterinsurgency operations. The Marine Commandos have a reputation for efficiency and courage under fire. Their most famous operation occurred during the 2008 Mumbai attacks, where Marcos were the first responders and instrumental in neutralizing the terrorist threat. Other successful missions include hijacking interventions aboard ships and planes, supporting UN peacekeeping operations, and conducting joint exercises with foreign special forces. With their demanding recruitment and specialized training modeled on the world's best, Marcos remains India's premier maritime special ops force. Now it's time for today's subscriber pick. The elite frogman corps of the Danish Navy are regarded as modern-day Vikings who dominate the seas, but they're also equally well known for their intimidating uniforms that strike fear in any enemy. In their special frogmen helmets and net veils, this menacing attire is truly something you'd not want to encounter in the dark. Numbering around 150 personnel, selection into this prestigious unit is extremely stringent, with over 90% of candidates failing to pass the hypothermia resistance, underwater combat skills, and stamina testing required. Those few who succeed complete years of demanding training to earn their Frogman badge. Exercises like navigating the frigid Danish straits, stealth swimming miles in full gear, and underwater combat drills produce warriors capable of silent, stealthy sabotage and counterterrorism missions. Frogmen specialize in infiltrating enemy coasts and harbors, gathering intelligence and disabling vessels before the opposition realizes it. In operations against Somali pirates, Frogmen covertly disabled pirate motherships, exhibiting the skills of their Viking forebears. The Frogman Corps may be small in number, but their skills make them undisputed Norse warriors of the modern era and one of the deadliest special force units in the world. What are your views on the training and skills of these special units? Let us know in the comments. Number 5. France Guyn. The National Gendarmerie Intervention Group, commonly abbreviated GIGN, is an elite law enforcement and special operations tactical unit in France. GIGN specializes in hostage rescue situations and targeting organized crime. GIGN was formed in 1974 following the Munich Olympics attack. Recognizing the need for a specialized national intervention force, the French Gendarmerie established GIGN to respond to high-risk scenarios that overwhelm conventional police. Prospective GIGN operators undergo a grueling selection process to assess their physical resilience, determination, marksmanship, and teamwork abilities. The most infamous test is the trust shot exercise. Recruits must stand still as another member fires a live round into a block placed around their neck. This underscores the extreme trust and nerve required to join GIGN. Those selected for GIGN complete more than a year of intensive training. This covers shooting skills, close quarters combat, tactics, explosives, reconnaissance, and negotiating techniques. Training missions simulate the tense, high-pressure situations GIGN encounters in real-world operations. Scenarios include hostage rescue, aircraft assaults, and VIP protection. Weapons and equipment provide GIGN operators an advantage in hostile engagements. Primary firearms include the HK-416 rifle, Benelli shotgun, and Glock 17 pistol. Flashbangs, tear gas, and stun grenades facilitate hostage rescues. GIGN also utilizes specialized vehicles and advanced technologies to support its mission. GIGN has showcased its capabilities in numerous high-profile interventions since its formation. Most famously, in 1994, GIGN resolved an Air France hijacking in Marseille, eliminating the terrorists and freeing all hostages safely. GIGN operations have also taken down terrorists involved in the Paris attacks of 2015 and halted other mass casualty plots across France. Besides counter-terrorism, GIGN also provides close protection details for French officials and assists local police when violence erupts beyond their control. Their proficiency across a range of high-risk scenarios makes GIGN an indispensable asset for French security. Number 4. SSG Special Forces Pakistan. The Special Service Group SSG is the Special Forces unit of the Pakistan Army, notable for their specialized training and skills in unconventional warfare. Their roles include direct action, special reconnaissance, counterterrorism, and foreign internal defense missions. Formed in 1956, the SSG draws much of its early heritage and training principles from the U.S. Army Special Forces, with whom they continue to closely partner. Recruits undergo rigorous physical and operational testing before starting SSG training. The SSG selection course lasts 9 months and is exceptionally demanding both mentally and physically. Candidates must demonstrate proficiency in disciplines like weapons, tactical maneuvers, demolitions, survival, climbing, parachuting, and more. Standards are kept extremely high to produce skilled operators. Those graduating from SSG training gain access to advanced military resources for carrying out sensitive missions. This includes technologies for reconnaissance and surveillance, as well as weapons like the G3 battle rifle, MP5 submachine gun, and the POFI sniper rifle indigenously produced in Pakistan. The SSG has undertaken covert and overt operations across Pakistan, in India-administered Kashmir, and globally alongside coalition forces. Missions have targeted terrorists and insurgent groups that threaten Pakistan's national security interests. SSG's presence also deterred Indian aggression during past conflicts. Some of their most notable successes include Operation Black Thunderstorm in 2009 and Operation Zarb-e-Azbi against the Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan. These demonstrated SSG's strategic reach and impact. Number 3. PLASOF China. The People's Liberation Army, Special Operations Forces PLASOF, is the dedicated special warfare branch of the Chinese Armed Forces. Modeled after Western SOF units, the PLASOF conducts strategic tasks including reconnaissance, sabotage, direct action, and hostage rescue. Formed in the late 1980s, the PLASOF has units specializing in maritime, ground, airborne, and electronic warfare. Training is based on the People's Liberation Army doctrine, but with greater emphasis on unconventional tactics and advanced technologies used by PLASOF. Recruits undergo intensive physical conditioning, weapons handling, demolition, and other specialized qualifications before joining operational detachments. Mental resilience under physical hardship and unwavering loyalty are also strongly emphasized during training. PLASOF personnel have access to advanced technologies including night vision goggles, tactical communications gear, and underwater systems. They employ Chinese-made assault rifles, sniper platforms, and anti-materiel rifles modified for special operations missions requiring stealth, speed, and flexibility. The PLASOF first tested its capabilities during the 2008 Beijing Olympics by handling counter-terrorism security. It has since undertaken long-range reconnaissance in China's western regions and deployed abroad to protect Chinese interests. These include evacuating citizens from Libya and Yemen and operating against pirates in the Gulf of Aden. As China's global footprint grows, The PLASOF provides strategic options for Chinese military power projection without escalating to war. Its units can conduct discrete missions across a range of specialized domains, positioning it well for future conflict scenarios. Number 2. Turkish Special Forces Command. The Turkish Special Forces, known as Özel Kuvvetler Komutanlığı (OKK) in Turkey, are an elite and highly secretive branch of the Turkish military. Specializing in unconventional warfare and counterterrorism, they are regarded as one of the most skilled special forces units in NATO. Formed in 1952, the OKK has its roots in small, specialized forces of the Ottoman Empire used for covert operations. Today, the OKK comprises around 5,000 personnel split into land, sea, and air teams that can execute a wide range of strategic missions, both domestically and abroad. Becoming an OKK operator requires passing a grueling selection process that pushes candidates to their mental and physical limits. Selection lasts around 5 weeks and begins by assessing applicants' teamwork skills and motivation. This is followed by intensive physical tests, including long marches with heavy loads, amphibious drills, and parachute jumps. Those selected complete around 2 years of demanding OKK training. This covers counter-terrorism tactics, covert infiltration, demolitions, sniping, linguistics, and jungle, mountain, and desert warfare skills. Operators also train extensively in close-quarters battle using advanced weaponry. Training missions held under live fire conditions provide crucial real-world experience. The OKK employs a range of firearms for different missions, including Russian and American-made assault rifles, sniper rifles, submachine guns, and machine guns. Equipment like night vision devices and tactical shields provide further mission support. The OKK also utilizes helicopters, transport aircraft, and naval vessels outfitted for special operations. Missions undertaken by the OKK include hostage rescue, direct action raids, counterinsurgency operations, and securing strategic sites. The OKK played a significant role against ISIS along Turkey's Syrian border, with both cross-border raids and training local forces. They also spearheaded the amphibious invasion of Cyprus in 1974 against a Greek coup. Number 1. JTF-13. The JTF-13 is an elite special forces unit of the Israeli Navy, feared for its ruthless counterterrorism and maritime warfare capabilities. Their motto, "Never Again," reflects a spirit forged from a tragic loss against terrorist threats. Created in 1949, the JTF-13 specializes in underwater sabotage, counterterrorism, maritime hostage rescue, and reconnaissance. Their grueling training builds physical stamina, determination, and inner strength to overcome any obstacle and defeat any enemy. JTF-13 selection begins with physical and aptitude testing, followed by 20 months of intensive training. This includes dive, demolition, and weapons qualifications, intense strength conditioning, and covert operations techniques. Trainees must also withstand interrogation and torture-resistant scenarios. Advanced technologies like miniature submarines and surveillance equipment aid the JTF-13 during undercover missions to obtain intelligence or position for ambushes. They also employ a variety of firearms, including the IWI Taver, Glock 19 pistol, and Negev machine gun tailored for specific mission objectives. Some of their most noteworthy successes include Operation Bulmus 6 in 2002. JTF-13's operators covertly reached Gaza by sea and eliminated a key Hamas leader and his 2 guards in a precise ambush before extracting safely. Such missions demonstrate their lethality and stealth. During the Yom Kippur War, JTF-13 frogmen sank 5 Egyptian Navy ships in just 1 night, completely catching Egypt off guard. The JTF-13 remain Israel's silent, lethal instrument against terrorist and national security threats. Their secretive nature conceals countless more missions attaining Israel's objectives below the radar. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.